Hey there, fellow streakers. It's Jeff and Jamie, and we are with you one more time on the Streaking Podcast.
I was going to say, we are with you live, but we're not.
You know what? I would actually like to do a live one.
That would be fun.
A live streaming over Facebook or a live streaming. Is that how you do it? Is over Facebook?
Yeah, you can do a live stream over Facebook.
We
That
get
would be
Talon
fun.
to set us up on a live stream, and we do a live stream maybe on the Saturday, on our Saturday podcasts.
That would be fun.
Are you
something
serious right now?
Slightly serious. I know. I had to laugh because I have a streak to look for feedback, to ask for feedback.
Right.
At least once weekly.
Yep.
And one of the...
And since we talked about on our last podcast how to write a streak, you ask the action first for feedback
at least
once
a week.
One time weekly.
Okay. So there's been a ancillary benefit of asking for feedback at least once weekly. And the ancillary benefit has been that in my brain, I will sometimes think, do I actually want the feedback right now? So there's things that I would used to ask that I'd be like, so how'd you think I did? And then I'd realize, I don't want to know. I don't care. I'm just happy I did it. I don't want your feedback. I'm not going to ask. So
that's all there is to it.
But I actually think that's kind of a benefit because it's helped me to think more before I ask for something, not just kind of token. So what'd you think? I think, wow, what if they really tell me what they think? Am I prepared to hear?
Am I prepared for that? Do I want to hear what they have to say?
Do I really want to know what they think?
Do I want to take that in and evaluate it and choose whether or not I want to apply it to my life?
And I've had a couple times that I'm like, nope. I don't want to know what they think. I'm good.
I'm good.
So I love that. I love that my streak of ask for feedback at least once weekly has helped me to be more intentional in asking and evaluating, do I really want that feedback? So
speaking of intentionality, we got the coolest email from one of our streakers out there, Mari. We just want to say thank you, Mari. You have made our day and our week and our month. And several months past that.
We're just great.
It was really fantastic. And what we wanted to do is share this story with you because it's so powerful in what streaking does for an individual. And I thought what I would do is read just a little bit of, and I asked her if it would be okay if we shared it with everyone on the show. And Mari, thank you very much for allowing us to do that and saying yes. So I'm going to just read portions of it because it's so telling as far as what streaking can do for someone if you allow it to work within you.
Right.
She said, and again, I'm just going to pick out certain parts. It says, my streaking numbers currently are, so after some pleasantries and talking, she says, my streaking numbers currently are 193, 98, 64, 19, and 6.
I love that.
So she just started a streak, but her first streak, 193 days, was 95 days old before she started her second streak of 98 days.
Which, just little methodology moment for a second, it is important to set a foundational streak when you start. Pick one thing that you can just do one streak because it takes time for two things. It takes time for you to bring this to the realm of intentionality.
Right.
And two, it takes time for you to believe that it's going to work. And it's not until...
Believe in yourself.
To believe in yourself. To believe that you're going to keep this commitment to yourself. And we talked about that a little bit last time of why, because of how we've all been bamboozled by this idea of habits.
Right.
That it takes time. And after
and
about...
we are at war with habits. I'll tell you that right now.
Yep.
Not that we want to completely abolish them, but we want to put them in their correct place.
Yes.
Which their place is a little tiny place at the very edge of maintaining how you do something. Mm-hmm. And that's the only place a habit exists. Everything else past that is either a routine, a streak, or a goal.
Yep.
And the streak is the floor on which you stand to reach for your goals. You cannot stand, there's no floor of a habit. The habit floor, it doesn't exist. It's non-existent.
Right.
Do you think that's emphasized enough?
I think that's emphasized enough.
Here we go. She says, I'm so excited to share my 64 streak. All right, the one that's at 64 days and counting. It was the first streak I created with my 5th grade class.
Oh.
I was overwhelmed and frustrated that I wasn't able to teach my students 5th grade level material because they have not mastered their math facts.
Okay,
We
so that
committed to
was
spending, hold on just a second. We committed to spending time every school day to work on mastering math facts. Students change our record on the bulletin board each day as they finish. We are planning to celebrate in some way on our 100th day, which we have a fun 100th day one that just happened as well. We'll talk about in a second. I believe my success on an individual level spurred my students as we began this streak. And did you hear what she said there? I believe my success on an individual level is what spurred my students as we began this streak. Enthusiasm is contagious. My students record their improvement, % mastered each month. They have a page labeled streaks in their report. That made me so happy.
I know, me
I just
too.
was like, this is so cool. In their report card notebooks so that they can share their success with their parents. It is really exciting to see their smiles when they record their improvement. I give them several minutes to share. What did you notice? I love what they learn each month from this simple practice. Now I'll go on, but what kind of went through your mind? I mean, there's so many things there.
So much in there. Love that. Well, first of all, at our Lost podcast, I talked about...
Our Lost podcast? Is it Lost?
No, it's not the Lost one. We found the Lost one.
We did find the Lost one.
The last podcast, I talked about the multiplication facts with Chance, and my older daughter setting also a streak to do math facts. So I love recognition that these math facts are important and how difficult it is to move on. And then I love that that Mari thought, I have had personal success with this. This is why I loved this email, is because this is the exact same thing that I feel like happened to us, is that we tried out streaking and we're like, this is working. Like, I can do this.
We couldn't believe it. It's like, this is actually working. Doing this simple, small, laughably small thing, recording that we've done it and sharing it, creating a community around it is actually
working. And so I love that she's like, all right, we're just going to do something simple. I love, love, love that the kids are part of the record keeping of it.
Well, that's the community too.
That is the community. Exactly.
She sent me a picture of the scoreboard that they have in their room. It's cool. It's just a number. It says streak, math fact streak, and then their number, and they flip it every single day that they do at least one math fact.
And can I just tell you that children are fantastic about remembering these things and being like, oh, we've got to do it. We've got to do it. And so they are, I love that about kids, that they're...
So I want to segue just for a second and come back to this. Chance has a streak of doing at least one karate move daily. He hit 100 but he was counting up to it.
Yeah.
And where he kept track, the record that he loves the app. He'll pull the app open, the streaking app, and he'll touch that and he'll say, I'm almost there. He knew that exactly the day before.
At 90 days.
He
came into me and
what did he say?
He came into me and he's like, Mom, I have 1 week and 3 days till I hit 100 days on my karate streak. I'm like, really? And so I opened the app and I'm like, you're right, you're at 90. And what I loved about his karate streak, so his karate streak is to do at least one karate move daily. That's it, just one. He doesn't even have to do the whole form. He can get up and do...
Just.
Did I say just
You
again?
did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry. His karate streak is to do at least one karate move a day. If he just does a knife streak, I said just again, but that's okay because it's there. You can say it there.
You can say it there.
If he does...
Well, you look at it, as long as he does one move, it counts.
It counts, whatever move it is.
And what kind of confidence has that given him?
It's been great. So here's the cool thing is that over the Christmas break, we all got COVID, and then it was Christmas break, and so we weren't going to karate. We were quarantined, and then when they came back on, we still couldn't go. So it was great because, well, Chance never got sick. He never got the COVID. Just the rest of the family did. But he still did a karate move every day, even on Christmas Day.
I remember one time he came in the morning and he said to me, Dad, you'll never believe it. I laid down to go to sleep and I thought, I didn't do my streaks yet. He said, so I just got up, I did a knife hand strike, and I went back to bed. And then I got in bed and I did 10 push-ups.
He did his 10 push-ups in bed.
Yes.
I loved that.
And then he said, I went to sleep. And I marked my streaks and I went to sleep.
Yep.
Now, I got to pause here because there will be the question: is that too radical? I mean, is that you know what I mean? Are we teaching something that we shouldn't in the radicalness of that, or is that good?
I think it's good because the radical part would be if it was something bigger. But because it's something laughably small and laughably simple, what it is it's allowing yourself to have those days, allowing yourself to have those times where you forget, and being able to say, oh, I can just do this really quick in 30 seconds. Why? Because I just want to keep it alive. And it's not that what you did that day makes a difference in the action of it. The difference is in the way that you mentally think, that inside of yourself, you've kept a commitment to yourself.
Yeah.
And that commitment is, I'm going
Okay.
to be consistent.
So that goes to something else that Mari wrote here. She says, I'm a PLC, professional learning community leader at my school. One of the pieces of the training I was part of this year focused on John Hattie's research. And I hope I'm saying that name right, Mari. John Hattie, Hattie. Do you think does that sound correct?
Yeah.
Hattie's research. Research. The greatest factor in student learning is, and she has this in capitals, collective teacher efficacy. Okay, so collective teacher efficacy. So to me, what that is saying is that as teachers, our ability, efficacy is our impact, our ability to affect or impact the student, our efficacy. The concept focuses on how teachers think, behave, and feel. So it's about what they're thinking about themselves and their own individual effectiveness. That's the word I was looking for to make it happen. It says, let's see here. The author describes self-efficacy as, quote, the belief in one's capabilities to organize and execute the courses of action required to manage prospective situations. Now, there's a lot, I think,
There's
in
a
that
lot
sentence.
in that sentence.
What it means to me is that if I'm a teacher, my ability to, or what I feel about myself to be able to, and it says here, let's see here, organize and execute the courses. In other words, organize the learning and then actually teach.
Execute on it.
Execute on it is what I'm looking for. Discussions about how to develop this in teachers and amongst teams led me to share my streaking journey. She says this, I believe the how, and she has that in all caps, HOW, to develop this is done through streaking.
Wow.
Just pause
so who
there.
did she share it with?
Interestingly, self-efficacy was also a high factor in student learning, but not as high as a collective. It has helped me create a positive classroom community and teamwork as we navigate challenging times. I shared this concept last week with my faculty at an in-service meeting I was asked to present. I keep praying that I could share our vision. She's talking about you and me, your vision for the powerful concept of streaking as you had done with me. Several teachers thanked me afterward, and they were excited to give it a try. Then she says, I love what it has done for me personally. I have a greater trust in myself to follow through with streaks I set for myself and those in my charge. I want to live my life, capital, all caps, intentionally. And I believe that this concept helps me do that. And then she goes on to give some accolades. But that, I just get chills as I listen to that, because that's what streaking has done for me.
Me too.
And that's what you and I think, wanted to share with everyone, is that it is not only possible, but probable that you will have significant success and feel so confident inside that you'll be able to do things that you hadn't thought you could do.
And I love that she talked about, and I would love to talk to her more, because not being in the education world myself, I would love to ask her more questions about these studies that she was doing.
Maybe we could get her on as a
understand.
guest. Maybe, Mari, if you're out there, would you like to be on as a guest?
I
We'd
know.
love to have
we
you.
would love to have you. But this idea that, and if I understand it right, I guess that's where my hesitation comes, is I don't know if I understand to the magnitude. But what I felt, or what I thought, is this idea that how a teacher feels about their ability has a massive amount of impact on how the kids are going to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about it, I'm like, well, just as a mom, I know working with children, I loved that it said you've got to be able to organize, which is a huge part of, all of our lives, I suppose.
Well, when you look at it as a mom of 7 children, I mean, you've done a lot of educating.
You've got to be organized.
You've educated, and
organizing
your
is-
organization is significant in providing an environment in which they can learn, in which
Right.
each one of our children can learn.
But then
so
also-
where you may not have been formally in education, and I just want to
I
riff in
have
here
been
too. You've
formally a mother.
Well, and not only formally,
Of
but
many
I
children.
mean, you've done a lot of work to help our children understand and know. And I remember this, because it's what Mari brings up is part of the journey I think that you went on when you would help our kids with math.
Yes.
You didn't feel confident yourself.
Well, so
And
that's what I've loved about this is that as I was listening to this email and rereading it again, recognizing that so being organized is a key part of all of our jobs and as a parent, but then going on and talking about the idea of being able to execute on those things that you've organized. When you're dealing with children and multiple children, there is this randomness in life that is always present, this little bit of unpredictability because they're children.
Right.
And so it sounds like what it's saying is the ability to organize your curriculum, but then also be able to execute it and prepare for a multitude of different situations and that could arise
Yeah.
as a teacher, and being able to still maintain what needs to happen so that you can create a positive learning environment. And what I feel like she said that streaking has done for her is twofold. One, it gave her the confidence in herself that she can do this. And two, it gave a methodology of saying, if we if we do at least this much every day, the consistency.
And what is this much? At least one math fact a day.
Right.
I mean, and even starting there, that's one of the things that Craig Christensen said when we had him on, is he's like, it's not a place to end. It's a
No,
place,
it's a
to,
place
start.
to start.
And if it starts and ends with 1, then great.
Then great.
If it starts and ends with 5 or 10 or 12, then great. But it starts with 1.
Right.
And with that 1, the streak lives.
Yep.
And the streak wants to live. I can imagine the enthusiasm right now in her classroom as they have the record that's up there. And that record is the record of the streak, and the streak wants to live. And they're like, we have done this for 59 days in a row, or for 60 days in a row, or for, what did she say?
I think they're on 64.
Are they on 64?
Mm-hmm.
So when we receive this, so they're probably on 65 or 66. Or actually now
More
a
than
lot
that,
further.
yeah.
Yeah, because this is
Last
a
week.
week ago. Yeah, that we got it. Anyway, what I see is I would be so jazzed as a student
That's
to
the other
keep
thing
it
that
going, because
keep it-
that's the laws of streaking. Make it laughably simple, no record, no streak, and create a community. Those 3 things are all
All in
at
here.
work right here. And I think in education, I know I'm really excited right now, and I've cut you off a couple of times, but I'll let you talk. I promise.
I'm just a smallmouth frog. Keep going.
You got me. Education is this place where now what I've done is, rather than learning how to go to school, I've started to learn how to learn.
I love that too.
Do you
and
see what I
it's
mean?
something, that's what I guess I say is it's something they can use their whole life, these techniques, but also there may be streaks that you look at and think, I'm just going to review a math fact every day for the rest of my life, just
Yeah.
to kind of keep them there. Not all of us end up in professions that use math all the time. So would it be great to have that be something as a streak, even as an older, like I have my geography streak, something that just keeps it always a part of your life and fresh. The other thing I loved about this is the enthusiasm that came in multiple ways for multiple reasons. One, there's the enthusiasm that comes because the teacher, Mari, was excited about her own personal success, and she was sharing something that worked with her with other people. There's an enthusiasm there. Two, the enthusiasm of, we've got a plan. Okay, let's put this in place. There's hope. We've got a tool.
Yeah.
We've got a way of making this happen. And then 3, there's the enthusiasm that comes as you're doing this as a community, as you start to be both consistent, and then you start to see the results of that consistency.
Yeah.
The result being, I feel good about myself because I'm doing this all the time, and I'm improving.
Right. I think that we need to, I don't know. I just had 3 thoughts go through my brain, and I'll complete at least one of them, okay? The thought was this. We need to add to the lexicon of personal improvement, professional improvement, personal growth, professional growth, we need to add streak to the lexicon. Because it is something wholly different than a goal, a habit, or a routine.
It is.
A streak exists in its own realm. And once you understand, as an educator, as a leader, as a mother or a father, as an athlete, once you understand the streak and what a streak is and what a consecutive streak is and how to use it, it unlocks doors of personal improvement and professional development. It is absolutely mind-blowing as far as what it does. And so understanding the streak and that it is part of the lexicon of growth and that it is separate and different. Don't dismiss it as, oh, it's just another way to do habit. Once you dismiss it there, you take all the power from the streak.
You do.
Once you say, oh, it's just another way to get your goals, you take all the power from the streak. The goal is something you reach for. It's the X to Y by win. It's the focus and finish line that I'm going to get. You set one goal a year. That's it. And you go for it. You have a streak that starts with who you want to be as an individual, the state of being that you're going for, and then you start doing streaks which have a start line but no finish line. And the question you're asking yourself is, how many days in a row or how many weeks in a row can I do this laughably simple thing?
Yep.
And that unlocks the power within you to become whoever you want to be. Am I overstating this?
No, I think it's fantastic. And it's one of my favorite things because I love that a streak allows you to continue living your life. It allows and
not only allows, but it also encourages it. It takes in that life that you want to live becomes something that you can reach for and actually become.
Right. I guess that's what I was trying to say is that it becomes a part of your life. You're able to interweave it in your life right now and make improvements, but you don't have to change everything at the same time.
I look at it and people ask me, how many streaks do you have? Well, I have the streaks that will help me become who I want to be. The number doesn't matter. And what I love about Mari here, and thank you again, Mari. This has been fantastic. We've loved being able to talk about this. Is she took it one at a time. And, we can talk a little bit more about that in future podcasts about how you build your streaks over time, because that confidence will continue to build within you and you'll go for it. So become who you want to be. Start streaking. I'm Jeff. That's Jamie.
Keep streaking.
Keep streaking. And if you want to share with us any of the things like Mari did, we'd love to hear from you. We always ask for your permission to share your stories. Mari gave it to her. If you don't want to share it with everyone, that's fine. You can just share it with us. We'd love to hear about it. Give us an email, Jeffrey, Jeffrey, at streakingmastery.com or
Jamie, Jami, at streakingmastery.com.
All right. Well, thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful day and keep streaking.